Speaking of MindTree, Rosto Ravanan, CFO of the company, joins us right now on the show to talk about the rupee and what it does for them. Rosto, always good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Now, almost a 5 to 7% kind of a depreciation. How would this boost margins for you? Considering that everything else remains stable, how would this rupee depreciation alone impact margins?
Typically, a 1% change in the rupee will create something like a 0.4 to 0.5% impact to our margins. The only caution I would like to also give here is that the early part of this financial year, in April, the rupee was appreciating. Just in the last few days of May and maybe early June, it has depreciated. So I think we should not take it for granted right now. Wait to see how the rupee ends for the quarter as a whole, because what's important for us is the quarter average for this quarter compared to the quarter average for the previous quarter. So just 1 week, 2 week moves this way or that way is probably less meaningful for us.
In the past, IT companies have not really been able to encash on currency weakness. Of course, it was different for you. You think this depreciation gains will largely help in negating other cost pressures rather than boosting bottom lines?
I'm not sure if I can comment for the industry as a whole, but if you look at MindTree specifically, last year we had a fairly big improvement in our profitability, and a part of that improvement came because of the exchange rate movements. So as far as we are concerned, I think we are not currently planning to do any major interventions to the business because of currency. We don't think we can take this currency related gain for granted. So we will manage the business more from an operational perspective, and whatever comes or goes because of currency is on top of that.
Rosto, just a second. There is a news bit on Dabur. There is an import alert on 2 plants of Dabur India. I was in fact on the website just looking at it right now. It says the import alert name is detention without physical examination of unapproved drugs promoted in the US. Dabur India has just cracked 1.5% or 2%. Now, we should, of course, we'll try and figure out what kind of sales happen via these products on which or these plants, and whether or not it's a material impact on Dabur's top line. But yeah, there is an import alert on 2 plants of Dabur India, just to bring to the notice of our viewers. We'll get in some details about the kind of revenues that come in from these 2 plants, but there is an alert for sure. Okay, now Rosto, coming back to you, just on the currency, really. Any rethink on the hedging policy post such a sharp depreciation on the rupee?
Our hedging policy is to hedge 50% of our net exposure on a rolling 12-month basis. We don't make any changes to our hedging policy because of movement of the spot rate of the rupee. So even today when the rupee is quite weak, or like I said in early April when the rupee was getting to strengthen, in neither of those times we changed our hedging policy. We have a stable hedging policy that is not linked to the current spot value of the rupee.
Right. Last time when we spoke, you had said that you will decide whether or not you'd go in for salary hikes in June. Any decision that is being taken on that front? Or what kind of a hit would you expect on margins on account of salary hikes?
Not right now. Like I mentioned last time that our head of people function and our CEO were both traveling. So my guess is maybe in the next 1 week to 10 days when everybody is back in Bangalore, we will take a final call on that picture. Currently no view on either the hikes or the duration or the timing of the salary hikes.
Rosto, aside of what the currency is doing, is discretionary spend picking up or is it still status quo?
Definitely, from a market perspective, we're clearly seeing a reasonably strong pipeline. Clients in the US are mainly giving us very, very encouraging feedback. So we are seeing an increase in the pipeline. We are seeing a somewhat better rate of deal closures. Projects are ramped made to us. So overall, this year is starting off on a good footing.
But are you confident of FY14 growth being higher than FY13? What are the growth drivers that give you this confidence?
Absolutely. So even as of today, we still are on the same wavelength that we were in the beginning of this financial year. And the year is starting off quite well. Assuming everything goes as per the current sort of trajectory, we expect FY14 to be a much better growth rate than FY13.